In 1940, Reidsville was red clay and riddles. Before he was Doc, he was just Gene, a boy raised by Geneva and a grandmother who proved that the church and the garden never lied. They didn't have money, but they had pinto beans, fatback, and a neighborhood where you left a note before you cut a head of cabbage. Gene learned the world through riddles. Water everywhere, but not a drop to drink, meant the clouds. A house full, but you can't get a spoonful, was the smoke from a wood fire stove. It was a scratch-made life, seasoned with compassion and the steady rhythm of a pineapple cake being put together from nothing.
Yeah, my name is David E. Reid. It's Eugene, the middle name. Everybody call me Gene, though. And most of the people, that I know that I went to school with call me Doc. That's my initial, DR. They call me Doc. I was born in Reidsville, North Carolina, July the 2nd, 1940. My mom, Geneva Reid, and she was born in Reidsville, North Carolina. I don't know the exact date, but she was born in Reidsville, North Carolina. Yeah, she was a nice lady, real nice lady, Christian lady. And my grandma was also. They raised me anyway when I was just a young kid. When I got to where I was about maybe 6 or 7 years old, my pop left. So my mom and my grandma, they took over. They raised me. In the church, my parents, all of them are deceased, and they are buried at Reidsville Cemetery. And back in the time when we was coming up, we always had a garden, this place that we could, get food and stuff out there. We had pigs, native of that nature, and we had good stuff to eat. But we didn't have a whole lot of money. Everybody in the neighborhood, if they wanted something to eat, they would come by, and just cut off what they need, and they would leave a note back in the day. But now you can't leave your house open for this no more, because anybody will come in and take everything that you got. So it's a different generation now, Pintos. My favorite food when I was young, I was raised in the 40s. Yes, I was. My favorite food was pintos, cornbread, and, fatback. We just call it, but I can't eat it now. Fatback it's pork, and it's real good. I think so anyway. That was my food. My cooks were my mom and my grandma. They would take turns sometimes. My grandma, and she would, as she would age, get older, then my mom would take over, and do the cooking. But, most of my parents my grandma would do most of the cooking back in those days. If I must have tasted something that come out of my childhood back in the day, it would probably be a pineapple cake. I used to love pineapple cake. They would make it from scratch. And they would put it together. They make it from scratch. That would be a good take, Well, I think my mom did most of it, but my grandma did teach her, They the one made it the best, My grandma taught my mom, and it went from there, My grandparents taught me a lesson by doing good to others, and, and Lord would have them do to you. And I always try to live by it. I'm a compassionate guy, but I tell people all the time I'm very compassionate. I used to take karate and, I used to do a whole lot of boxing and stuff of this nature, but now, I don't do that. I'm too young to do that now. At 84, I don't do a whole lot of fighting no more, so hey, that ended all of that. So I'm a compassionate guy.
The South had teeth. It was tobacco rows 2 miles long and the dark heat of a barn. In the rafters, you learned to handle the black snake, the 6-foot friend who kept the rats away. But you never fooled with the copperhead. He's a mean guy. He won't move for a shotgun. He just curls up and waits. In the fields, you learned the ultimate lesson. Reach down and grab what's useful, but never turn your back on the venom.